Do you want to get into Star Wars books and expand the universe but don't know where to start? Let's talk about why this is a great place to start and give you my personal opinions and thoughts on this book and the beginning of the High Republic era. Now, what is the High Republic era? Well, it's a time where the Republic was flourishing, it was at peace, and is also considered the golden age of the Jedi. Now, this takes place hundreds of years before the main Star Wars films. In particular, this book takes place 200 years before the events of the Phantom Menace. And this era is very well documented through a huge project and publishing by Lucasfilm, which included several books and comic books as well as audiobooks, all published by different authors, but following the same idea, trying to expand this huge era. And this book, Light of the Jedi, is only the beginning. So let's talk a little more about the book. It surrounds a huge galactic disaster and introduces on how the Jedi and the Republic operate during this time of peace and how they deal with this tragic event. Of course, like any Star Wars media, there has to be good and evil, and the evil is looming in the galaxy, and the author Charles Soule does a great job introducing the Nihil, which is the threat that the galaxy has to deal with during this time. It expands the characters, the lore, and it shows you exactly what the Jedi and the Republic has to face during this whole time. It leaves you wanting more and to learn more about this evil threat, as well as the Jedi, how this golden age, how they operate, how they deal with the Force, and all these characters that are introduced. Of course, there's several characters that we follow a little more closely in the book, so you get a little more attached and you feel more connections, but you meet a lot of characters. Besides the Nihil, the bad guys, the Jedi, and the Republic, you get a little more expansion in the universe with more planets and more different alien species. Now, why is this a great starting point? By itself, it's a great book, and for a Star Wars fan, is a great introduction to a new era, new characters, and familiar concepts. But for someone that's not a Star Wars fan, is not very familiar with these ideas, it's a great starting point. The author Charles Soule does a great introduction to the concepts that we might be familiar with as a Star Wars fan, but someone who's new to this world can get right into it and start asking questions and expanding our curiosity more about how the galaxy operates during this time. And it's great because, as I mentioned, there's hundreds of books that you can get into, comic books, audiobooks, that you can follow the adventures of main characters and other characters throughout this era and get attached and expand the universe. I'm not a big reader. I don't read that many books. This little section of the bookshelf is the only thing that's mine. Most of the Star Wars media I consume is movies and TV, but I wanted to expand my Star Wars bubble, and that's the reason I wanted to get it. And that's why I started this one. I picked up this book and I was instantly hooked. I was impressed with myself that I wasn't able to put this book down. I wanted to find out more what was going to happen the next chapter, what was going to happen to other characters, and I was curious. I was hooked instantly. And that's what's great about the High Republic era, that there's a whole series of books that you can get into and you can pick whichever adventure you want to read. I highly recommend that you give this book a shot. If you're looking to read your first Star Wars book or want to learn more about the High Republic era, there's no better place to start than with Light of the Jedi. I'm going to be making more videos talking about more about this era and other Star Wars book and media, so be sure to keep an eye on this channel. Until the next one.